My children invited me to dinner at the most exclusive restaurant in the city. But when I got there, they hadn't saved me a seat. My daughter-in-law, Cecilia, just smirked and said a cheaper place would probably suit me better. My son, Diego, her husband, just nodded along. My other son, Martin, couldn't even look at me. The cruelty of that moment, after everything I had done for them, it didn't break me. It lit a fire. I started to laugh. A deep, loud laugh that echoed through the silent restaurant. Everyone stopped and stared. After a moment, I walked over to the reception desk. I asked for the best table in the house. The owner, Elias, rushed over, a huge smile on his face. He'd been my business partner for 15 years. "Teresa, my friend, it's so good to see you," he said, hugging me warmly. My children froze, their faces a picture of confusion. They had absolutely no idea that this restaurant was mine. My name is Teresa. I'm 69 years old. I was widowed at 30 and raised Diego and Martin all by myself. My daughter, Elena, died of pneumonia when she was just a little girl because I couldn't afford a private hospital. That day, I swore my sons would never know what it felt like to be poor. So, for 40 years, I worked as a housekeeper, cracked hands, an aching back, waking up at 5 every morning. I did it all so they could have the school trips, the private universities, their first cars, the down payments for their homes, even their lavish weddings. They never once asked where the money came from. They just took it. Diego married Cecilia, a cold woman who always looked down on me, embarrassed by my simple life. And Martin, my sweet boy, grew up weak, always letting others make his decisions for him. About 6 months ago, I finally retired from cleaning. But the truth is, for the last 15 years, I hadn't needed that job. I had secretly invested every spare penny I had into properties and businesses, including this very restaurant, La Terraza. I kept it all a secret. I wanted to see people's true colors, especially my own family's. Last week, Cecilia had called, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "We're celebrating Diego's big promotion at La Terraza, Saturday at 8. They wanted to show me off, the poor old housekeeper, and make me feel out of place. When I arrived and saw there was no chair, Diego had the nerve to say, 'Mom, this place is really exclusive. We didn't want you to feel uncomfortable.' Cecilia chimed in, suggesting a cheaper place would be more my style. They said it without a hint of shame. But now, as the restaurant owner greeted me like royalty, their world tilted. Elias announced loudly, 'Your usual table is ready, Mrs. Teresa.' You could hear a pin drop. Forks clattered onto plates. Cecilia's face went completely pale. I turned to the waiter and ordered a bottle of their most expensive wine for my son's table, on the house, of course. Diego rushed over, totally bewildered. 'Mom, what is happening? Why are they treating you like this?' I looked him straight in the eye and told him the simple truth. Because I own the place. Cecilia stumbled over, stuttering. How? How could you possibly afford this?" I smiled. "While you were busy spending my money," I said, "I was busy investing mine." This wasn't the first sign of their disrespect. 3 months earlier, I'd lost my cleaning job and decided not to tell them. I wanted to see if they'd offer to help their old mother. Instead, they suggested I move into a nursing home. A not too expensive one, of course. That was their gratitude after 40 years of my sacrifice. As they stood there in shock, reporters started to arrive. I had called them. I let them in and told them everything. How my own children tried to humiliate me in my own restaurant, suggesting McDonald's was a more fitting place for their mother. The cameras turned to Diego and Cecilia, their carefully crafted reputations crumbling in real time. They stammered, trying to make excuses. But it was too late. I told the world how they'd tried to ship me off to a home. You are strangers to me, I told them. Not my sons. The story went viral. The hashtag Justice for Teresa trended worldwide. Diego was suspended from his job, and Cecilia became a social pariah. I, on the other hand, moved into a luxury hotel I used to clean. My son Martin left dozens of apologetic voicemails, but I ignored them. Then, my lawyer, Ezekiel, gave me the news. So many of their assets, their apartment, their car, their savings, were directly linked to my investments. So I cancelled everything. Cecilia came to the hotel crying. We'll have nowhere to live, she sobbed. Diego begged. You can't destroy our lives. I just laughed. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just removing the support you took for granted and abused. They tried to fight back, posting a video online painting me as a manipulative, cruel mother. But that backfired spectacularly. You see, for years. Because my memory was starting to fail me, I had recorded our conversations. Now, those recordings were my evidence. I uploaded my first YouTube video, titled The Truth Behind the Crocodile Tears. I played the audio of Diego calling me a burden, of Cecilia mocking my clothes, of Martin suggesting I just move away so they wouldn't have to deal with me. The public outrage was immediate and immense. Diego was fired. Cecilia lost her job. Martin's girlfriend left him. Finally, they begged to meet. I agreed, right back at La Terraza. They arrived looking broken, defeated. I laid out my conditions. First, a public apology. Second, they would repay every single cent I had ever given them, which came to $800,000, with interest. Third, they would work minimum wage jobs in my businesses. They would live in small apartments, just like the ones I raised them in. They would attend mandatory therapy and do community service in nursing homes. They would renounce any claim to my inheritance. And if they violated any of these terms, I would release more recordings. They accepted everything. The following Monday, their new lives began. Diego mopped the floors at one of my corporate offices. Cecilia washed dishes in the kitchen of La Terraza. Martin started doing maintenance, repairing pipes and painting walls. People would take photos of Cecilia scrubbing grills. Diego's old colleagues would walk past and see him with a mop and bucket. It was humbling. Meanwhile, I moved into a beautiful mansion I'd secretly owned for years and started a new chapter. I founded the Invisible Mothers Foundation, dedicated to helping elderly women who face abandonment and neglect from their families. 2 months later, my children asked to speak with me. They had changed. Cecilia admitted her cruelty was born from insecurity. Diego finally confessed that he had never once stopped to value my sacrifices. And Martin, through his physical labor, had found a sense of purpose he never had before. Their time volunteering in nursing homes had opened their eyes and humbled them deeply. 8 months after that fateful night at the restaurant, I invited them to dinner at my new home. Cecilia cooked the meal. Martin had repaired a wobbly table leg. Diego helped clean up afterward. It wasn't perfect, but it felt real. It felt like a family. 5 years have passed since then. Diego worked his way up and now manages 2 of my smaller hotels. He and Cecilia divorced amicably. She discovered a passion for cooking and is now the executive chef at La Terraza. She even remarried a kind man, and they have a daughter, Esperanza, my first true granddaughter. Martin married a wonderful social worker, and he now runs his own business, adapting homes for the elderly. His twin boys fill my Sundays with laughter and joy. My foundation has expanded internationally. My book, The Invisible Housekeeper, became a bestseller and was even turned into a Netflix series. At 74, I feel stronger and more alive than ever. My children and I have rebuilt our relationship, not on a foundation of guilt or obligation, but on mutual respect. I did decide to leave them something in my will, but only because they finally learned how to stand on their own, without me. I learned a powerful lesson. A mother's worth isn't measured by her sacrifice alone, but by the dignity she demands for herself. Thank you for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.